On November 18, 1978, 909 people died in Jonestown, Guyana. Most of them drank the poison voluntarily. They were not stupid. They were not weak. They were normal people whose brains had been systematically reprogrammed. And if you watched our last video, you already know the man who taught us how this works. Ted Bundy and Jim Jones never met. They operated in different states, different decades, different contexts. But the psychological technique they used is identical. Today we go inside the brain and show you exactly how it works. Jim Jones was a pastor from Indiana. Charismatic, brilliant, known for feeding the poor and healing the sick. His followers called him Father. Keith Raniere founded a self-improvement company. He had a tested IQ in the top 1%. Forbes called his organization one of the most ethical companies in America. Charles Manson never personally killed anyone. He convinced other people to do it for him. Here is what all three have in common with Ted Bundy. None of them used force. None of them had to. They operated entirely through psychology, through the specific vulnerabilities built into every human brain, including yours. The first technique is called love bombing. In the first weeks of contact, cult leaders overwhelm targets with warmth, attention, and belonging. You are extraordinary. You are finally understood. You have found your people. Bundy did this in seconds. Cult leaders do it over weeks. The mechanism is identical. They flood the brain's reward system before the rational mind has time to ask questions. The second technique is isolation. Gradually, contact with family and friends outside the group is reduced. Not by force, by reframing those relationships as threats. They don't understand you like we do. Isolation removes every external reference point. When there is no one outside to say, "This is wrong," wrong begins to feel normal. The third technique is manufactured dependency. The leader becomes the only source of truth, the only interpreter of events, the only path to salvation, success, or meaning. In NXIVM, members were given stripes for loyalty. In Jonestown, Jones controlled food, mail, and sleep. Dependency is not built through cruelty. It is built through control of what matters most. The fourth technique is the one that makes the others irreversible. Psychologists call it identity dissolution. Your previous self, your values, your relationships, your sense of who you were, is slowly replaced by an identity the group provides. This is why cult survivors often say, "I don't know who I am anymore." It's not a metaphor. The neural pathways that define self-concept have been systematically overwritten. Let's go into the brain. The first target is oxytocin, the hormone associated with trust, bonding, and love. Under normal conditions, oxytocin is released through genuine connection, through shared history, through earned trust. Cult leaders manufacture it artificially. Group rituals, communal meals, physical touch, all trigger oxytocin release. The brain cannot tell the difference between real belonging and engineered belonging. The chemical response is identical. The second target is the brain's dopamine system, specifically through a mechanism called intermittent reinforcement. This is the same mechanism that makes gambling addictive. Unpredictable reward is more powerful than consistent reward. When the leader alternates between warmth and coldness, approval and punishment, the follower's brain enters a state of compulsive seeking, trying to predict, trying to earn back the warmth, unable to disengage. You've heard about the amygdala from our last video. The alarm system. Cult leaders don't bypass it the way Bundy did, through charm and false safety. They reprogram it. Through constant low-level fear, the amygdala recalibrates its baseline. The group feels safe. The outside world feels threatening. This is called fear conditioning. Once established, leaving the group activates genuine terror, not manufactured terror, real neurological panic. The brain has been taught that outside is danger. And while fear controls the amygdala, sleep deprivation, poor nutrition, and ritual repetition systematically degrade the prefrontal cortex, the rational mind. Critical thinking becomes physically impaired. Now here is the part that should stop you. Because these three patterns, the ones that link cult leaders to serial killers, don't only exist in cults. They exist in toxic relationships, in abusive workplaces, in controlling families. Pattern 1. They are the only source of truth. Any outside information that contradicts them is dismissed as lies, jealousy, or persecution. You can't trust them. You can only trust me. Pattern 2. They isolate you from anyone who questions them. Friends who express concern are labeled toxic. Family who ask questions are called controlling. The isolation is framed as liberation. I'm protecting you from negative energy. Pattern 3, and this is the one Bundy mastered. They make you feel chosen, special, selected among many. The halo effect, weaponized in reverse. Instead of projecting goodness onto them, they project it onto you. You're not like other people. You're different. You understand things others don't. That's why I chose you. That sentence. In some form or another, Jones said it. Manson said it. Raniere said it. Bundy said it. And the brain, hearing it, responds the same way every time. Because being chosen feels real. It triggers the same dopamine pathways as genuine belonging. The brain does not ask, "Who told you that you were special?" It only feels what it feels. The difference between Bundy and a cult leader is time and scale. Bundy operated in minutes. Jones operated over years. But the target is the same. The gap between what the brain perceives and what is actually true. The defense is the same as the one we gave you last time. Not suspicion, not cynicism. Just one question. Does this person get uncomfortable when you talk to people outside their influence? That discomfort is the signal. 909 people died in Jonestown. Survivors described the same experience. The moment they considered leaving, genuine terror. Not of Jones, of the world outside him. That is what made Jones different from a conventional threat. He did not need a weapon. The brain had already become the weapon. And the brain does not announce when it has been compromised. Researchers who study coercive control do not ask, "How could someone be that stupid?" They ask, "Under what conditions would I be equally vulnerable?" The answer consistently is the same: stress, transition, isolation, and a person who arrives at exactly the right moment with exactly the right message. If this video changed how you see the people around you, subscribe to CurioMind. That is exactly what we are here for. This is what the 4 techniques have in common. Love bombing feels like finally being seen. Isolation feels like loyalty. Dependency feels like purpose. Identity dissolution feels like freedom. The trap is experienced as the rescue. The mechanism does not look like a monster. It looks like care. It looks like understanding. It looks like the thing you have always wanted. That is why we are taught to look for the wrong thing. The defense is not suspicion, not cynicism. Suspicion closes you off from everyone. What we are describing is more specific. Just one question. Does this person get uncomfortable when you maintain connections they do not control? That discomfort is not a personality trait. It is a diagnostic. 909 people. Each of them loved someone. Each of them had a life before Jones found them. Understanding the neuroscience does not make what happened smaller. It makes the people it happened to larger, more human, more like us than any other explanation allows. That terror was not weakness. It was the predictable output of a brain that had been systematically reprogrammed. Understanding this changes how we see the people it happened to, and it changes how we see the people who make it happen. Now you know the patterns. You know the techniques. You know what is happening in the brain. If you ever meet someone who does these things, you will recognize it. That recognition is the defense. More is coming. Subscribe so you do not miss it.